In 1944, World War II had spread across the globe, from Europe to Africa to Asia. Yet one of the most critical but least remembered battles was about to unfold in the dense jungles of northeast India. The towns of Kohima and Imphal, strategically located near the Burma frontier, would become the stage for a dramatic clash between Japanese forces and the Allied defenders. Japan had already conquered Burma and aimed to invade India, hoping to destabilize British control and cut Allied supply lines. The plan, called Operation U-Go, relied on speed, jungle expertise, and overwhelming numbers. For the Allies, losing Imphal or Kohima could have opened the gates to India. The terrain itself was a challenge. Dense forests, steep hills, and monsoon rains turned even simple movements into deadly obstacles. Indian, British, and Gurkha troops knew the battle ahead would test their endurance, courage, and resolve to the limits. This is the story of their struggle, sacrifice, and eventual triumphs in the forgotten battles of Kohima and Imphal. March 1944 saw the Japanese 15th Army crossing the Burma frontier. Their mission, capture Imphal and Kohima, destabilize the region, and spark uprisings against the British. Japanese troops, trained for jungle warfare, pushed through dense forests, rivers, and hills, often facing extreme weather conditions. Early skirmishes tested both sides. Allied patrols clashed with Japanese units along forest paths, roads, and small villages. Despite the Japanese skill and determination, the Allies used their knowledge of the terrain and air support to slow their advance. At Imphal, the first signs of the coming siege were evident. Supply lines were stretched, and reinforcements were urgent. Soldiers faced not only the enemy, but hunger, disease, and exhaustion. Meanwhile, Kohima, further north, prepared for an inevitable assault. The battles ahead would demand every ounce of courage from those defending India's northeastern frontier. The Battle of Imphal began in March 1944. Japanese forces surrounded the town, aiming to cut it off completely. Allied soldiers, a mix of British, Indian, and Gurkha troops, were outnumbered but determined to defend key positions. Supply drops from Allied aircraft became lifelines, delivering food, ammunition, and medical supplies. Soldiers dug trenches, fortified positions, and endured relentless attacks. The jungle became a deadly ally and enemy, concealing ambushes while making movement slow and exhausting. Week after week, soldiers faced hunger, disease, and constant bombardment. Despite these conditions, their resilience prevented Imphal from falling. The arrival of reinforcements and continued air support eventually turned the tide, forcing the Japanese to pause and regroup. While Imphal held, Japanese forces shifted focus to Kohima in April 1944. The small hill station quickly became a deadly battleground. One of the most famous sites of the battle was the Deputy Commissioner's tennis court, transformed into a front line as soldiers fought for every inch. Combat was brutal and personal. Soldiers engaged in hand-to-hand fighting, dug trenches, and fortified positions against relentless attacks. The terrain, dense jungle and heavy rain, made the battle even more challenging. After weeks of intense combat, Allied reinforcements broke the siege. Japanese troops, exhausted and depleted by disease, starvation, and casualties, began a retreat. Kohima, like Imphal, had been saved by the courage and determination of the defenders. The battles of Kohima and Imphal marked a turning point in the Burma Campaign. Japan's attempt to invade India had failed, ending their expansion into the subcontinent. The courage, sacrifice, and resilience of Indian, British, and Gurkha soldiers were decisive. Thousands lost their lives, yet their stand changed the course of the war. The Allies pushed Japanese forces back into Burma, paving the way for the liberation of Southeast Asia. Kohima and Imphal are remembered today with memorials honoring the fallen, though these battles remain lesser known in global WWII history. The jungles of northeast India, once silent witnesses to intense fighting, now stand as reminders of bravery, endurance, and the human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. Every story from history teaches us something powerful. If you enjoyed uncovering this untold chapter of World War II, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to History Unfolded. Join our mission to bring forgotten battles back to life. See you in the next story from the past. Till now, you can check our more videos on our channel.